actually just mentioned that you got quite a few products from many different manufacturers here, and I think I heard. Did I hear correctly, guys, that Canadians releasing an inverter?
Yeah. Yeah.
We are releasing an inverter. A lot of people is surprised probably, but they probably don't know that. And I was explaining to Len before, in South America, we are the inverter market leader, and everyone else is coming beyond Canadian Solar. So Sean Q again, he decided to tell us the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So he want Canadian Solar to be a one-stop technology provider. So we would like to provide the inverter and a module. So we're coming with this new 5 kilowatt inverter, and we are also this is the generation 3. So we are already the third generation. And also we are working on large utility scale inverters as well. Yeah.
So, I mean, the advantage for us, I guess, is because we understand the module technology side of things. We know where that's going in terms of the technology roadmap and development. So we can ensure that our inverters, go hand in glove with the products we're producing, and also taking the feedback of the market. I mean, it's, the inverter market's a well-developed market. We know we're entering in a pretty competitive space, but, the technology we understand, power electronics is well understood. There's a lot of good power electronics engineers out there. We've built up a formidable team. We've got a manufacturing line in China, and we believe it's a great product. So it'll be exciting to step into that side of it as well, and not just have the conversation about modules and monocrystalline and polycrystalline and all the various nuances of modules. We'll be able to talk inverters as well.
Yeah,
Michael, I guess it means you've also got 50 staff here in Australia who can support the product. I mean, not all of them, but it's not like you just have to suddenly invent a support system because you don't have any staff
No,
here.
exactly. That's bang on, Glenn. But as a manufacturer, you have the luxury, if you've only got one product, to stand back and observe other elements of the market. So we've been fortunate that we've had a lot of time to look at that, and we still work with all the inverter manufacturers in various ways in terms of products we're bringing to market to ensure compatibility and that sort of thing. But we sort of thought, well, why don't we make it a bit simpler for people? And then you've got a unified brand across modules and inverters as well. So there's some upside there, and maybe that works better for the consumer. We'll see. But we're excited about it. It's going to be a fun year.
Michael, I could just reflect on something I've noticed a lot with inverters coming to my lab. A lot of them don't realize that panel currents have gone up. They've gone over 10 amps. And that's a magic number because many of them had a 12.5 amp maximum short circuit current. And once you go over 10 amps and you apply the 1.25 times overload capacity requirement of our standard, that's not enough. You're going to be more than 12.5 amps. And so they're going, oh, yeah, but the panels don't put out more 12.5. Overload capacity, it's part of the standard. So, they're getting caught out by not understanding the integration of the module to the inverter.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see, I can't remember a time when power classes of modules have increased so rapidly in such a short space of time. From what we see, the default for residential now is around a 370 watt, mono PERC product, which, you only went back a few years ago where it was 300 watts was sort of the benchmark, or maybe 315. So, things are increasing pretty dramatically. More dramatically probably at the utility scale, and Vince can probably talk more about some of the exciting things there. But, the module space is evolving far more rapidly than it used to, and I think it's just the investment of the major players in terms of R&D and, technology that's coming out of facilities like UNSW. PERC technology came out of there all those years ago, and PERC's just a standard thing these days. It's not really thought about, but it was pretty significant at the time when it was first developed, and now it's just passé.
Sean, can I do another follow-up?
Please. It's a conversation after all, sir.
So look,
give me a break.
Look, maybe this is a little controversial, but look, if we got rid of the CEC silly rule of the 133% maximum oversizing, we'd unlock a lot more potential on people's homes, because look, I'm embarrassed by this, but actually I was on the committee that helped write that rule way back when it was really about maximizing yield of a panel. We didn't want 1 watt to go to waste on the most perfect day of the year. But the reality is every day isn't a perfect day. You might not live in a place that's cool enough to get there. Mm-hmm. So chances are that oversizing will give you more renewable energy on the existing hardware limits that you have, because the utility limits are the stopgap. They say 5 kilowatts maximum or 5 kilowatts export. You're locked in at that.
And the dynamics were very different. If you went back a number of years, the cost of a module was, almost 10 times what it is today. So it's, things, the technology moves very rapidly, and that's always the challenge for standards committees, right? That, technology gets ahead of the standards, and so there's always a lag and a catch-up. So
Can I just defend that there wasn't anything to do with standards? That was the CEC guidelines.
Okay, right.
Standards never set any limits on capacity. It's just manufacturer's recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I came across that clause of the CEC installation guidelines, and I couldn't really understand as an Italian. I said, why they are limiting the inverter to have only 33% of capacity above the. I didn't understand that. I just stick it to it.
So as Michael pointed out, it was when panels were very expensive, and it was. By the way, it wasn't enforceable when it was written. It was just a guideline for the industry that to get maximum yield, i.e. no watts would not be produced, that was a good match. In fact, it used to be the wording was the inverter's output capacity should be at least 80% of the peak watts of the array. It got changed to 75% of the peak watts of the array, which if you do the inverse is 133.3%.
Yeah.
Legacy issues.
A legacy issue. Yep, unfortunately, it gets locked in with STCs. But of course, once you get out of STC land or you add a battery, that's the other get out of jail free clause, because the CEC guidelines only apply to grid-connected systems without batteries.
Once again, this is like when I watch the Solar Equip, the Glenn's episodes, all this goes straight over my head. It's
Sean, we have to do a Toolbox Tech Talk.
I think so.
And we have to focus on something I don't know a lot about, which is racking systems. So I'll bring the experts in from Clenergy and we'll knock it out.
Yeah, let's do that. We could do that. And then maybe I can come and attend one of your courses and brush up on my CEC guidelines and why they're...
Why they're silly.
Why they're silly, okay, yeah.
They're not all silly. Just that particular rule, I think, silly. But anyway, there you go.